What's good, YouTube? It's me back again with another video. In today's video, you guys, I'm going to be talking about the truth about basically hermit crabs. Now, I do own one myself, and I will say this, I would never buy another hermit crab, even though I only have one, and they recommend that you have two. Now, I'm going to go into a few details about the stressful thing, and I'm even going to play a clip for you guys. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so if you did not know, hermit crabs, per crab you need at least a 10-gallon. Right now I do have my hermit crab in a 10-gallon. They do need a heater, as you can see back there. That is a heater as well as salt water and fresh water. Now you cannot give a hermit crab water from the tap, and that's because it has many chemicals in it. Now many people don't know that, and they need dechlorinated water. Now my crab has dechlorinated water as well as salt water, and they need a lot of things to climb on. Now, if you look up here, it is a screen netting because crabs can easily get out of the cage, well, the tank. Now, those little cages that you get from pet stores are really horrible for crabs because they're so tiny, and crabs need at least 6 inches of substrate to properly molt. Now, if you do not provide that, then your crab will eventually die over time. As well, they do need the proper water. So the water can actually kill them because of the chemicals in it. So you can easily dechlorinate water by boiling it at 350 for 20 minutes. Then you'll have dechlorinated water, or you can just buy dechlorinated water, which I feel like is an easier process than boiling water. Now, my crab just has a seagrass mat, and he has this perch thing that my birds don't use. They never used it. They said that you can use those for crabs because they like to climb and they encourage climbing. If you're wondering where my crab is right now, he is currently in the substrate under there. I do use I use Zoo-Med. I'm thinking about bird stuff. I use Zoo-Med substrate, and I think it's I don't know, I end up paying like $30-something for like 5 gallons worth. So this is my second batch using of it. I actually do need more because I have used it twice. Now, another thing is the humidity levels. Hermit crabs do need humidity, and I actually do not have any in there right now, and that's because he's actually underground. Now, when I have it like humidity in there, while he's underground, it will actually force water under there. So that's why it's not like that. But I do use a spray bottle that's misting it. So that's why I personally do not do it while he's underground. Now I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip for you guys of them smashing the hermit crab shells.
You're looking at thousands of hermit crabs, crammed into dirty, barren pens with nowhere to hide. Buried beneath other crabs, many were unable to get to food or water. This and more is what a PETA observer found inside Brayllian Corporation, a hermit crab dealer that claims to supply PetSmart and Petco, as well as many beach town souvenir shops. Because they don't breed readily in captivity, hermit crabs sold in pet stores and beach souvenir shops are always taken from the wild, where crabs use the shells they find to protect their delicate bodies from the outside world. Hermit crabs would rather lose a limb than leave the safety of their shells. But at Brayllian, workers used a manual lever press to crack open their shells and forced them to choose one of the painted shells commonly seen at boardwalk shops. During this violent process, crabs were injured by sharp shell fragments. Some exposed crabs were left behind among the broken shells, destined for the trash. Hermit crabs are known to shed limbs when under intense stress. Body parts from crabs littered the facility, and hundreds of crabs were found dead every single day. In the filthy pens at Brayllian, crabs were kept on plywood floors and denied salt water and the ability to dig, which are important to them. When drinking water was offered, it came straight from the tap. Tap water contains chemicals that can slowly poison hermit crabs. The crabs who survive this ordeal will be shipped to be sold in pet stores like PetSmart and Petco and in coastal towns, likely into a life of isolation and deprivation in little more than a small container with gravel, deprived of socialization with other crabs and their seashore homes. Hermit crabs in the wild can live for decades, but those in captivity often die within just a few months. Help keep hermit crabs where they belong, in the wild. Never buy a hermit crab, and tell your family and friends why they shouldn't either. Thank you.
Okay, so now that that video is done playing, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the shells that they're in. So these shells, which all of the paint has came off of this shell. If you look inside of there, it's paint off. It's horrible. These shells are toxic to them, and many people don't know. They just think these are cute little pets. And these things are, they're wild caught, and it's thousands or millions of hermit crabs because hermit crabs do not breed in captivity. These crabs have so much stress that they don't even breed in captivity, as well as them not even getting the proper care. People think that those sponges are good for them. They need at least 3 inches of water in each pool. Now, many people think that those sponges provide enough water, which basically those sponges, they're not really even drinking from them. So, you guys, this is a very, very, very sad topic, and I really don't like to talk about it because I actually do own a crab, but it's very important to speak on the awareness of hermit crabs. And another thing is these crabs, more than likely they die as soon as you get them. And many people are like, oh, why did my crab die? It's because these tiny cages, which I'm going to put some right there, they're really, really tiny, and it's not enough for your crab to properly molt. Now, I'm going to go into something else. Another thing is that these people think that, oh, the crab can live in these little tanks, or sometimes they even have bars on them. Those bars are really, really bad for your hermit crab's feet because it causes them to break. And many people think like, oh, it'll regrow, which that's not the case because crabs need to molt under substrate. Many people do use sand mixes with substrate to keep it moist, but I find that mine stay pretty moist over there, but at the top it does get kind of dry. But once I put the humidity in there, it's good. But I just want to come on here and talk about how hermit crabs are literally so mistreated, and they have high anxiety. Like when you pick them up, that's why I barely pick up my crab, only when I'm changing around his tank or cleaning it, which is maybe once a month, because you don't want to clean their tanks too much because it causes you to move them over time. Will I buy another hermit crab? Absolutely not. Will I make another video? Probably not, because this is a bird channel. But I really want to come on here and show awareness to hermit crabs. But without further ado, you guys, peace out.